Hi, welcome back channel, TrainStation2. Alright, gonna give you a gift code. Basically, it's a Moonkey, and then you get some, of course, the keys from the event. And of course, I'm gonna share with you the progress of the second competition. So far, so good. I mean, generally, you need to contribute to your winnings by having the EP hit starts, and of course, lots of those event items in order to get ready for competition. So this is the EP hit start I'm talking about. 48 plus 47. And then plus 62. So with the good numbers of EP, then of course that would adds up to, let's see, 157. So and of course you can see me starting late as well. That puts me in the top of the ranked at the first instance, because there are only two of us. So generally when more people join later, we will be having a head start in terms of the EP as well as the time. Depends on when people join. Starting late is always the key to winning. Roughly about 10 to 12 hours late will be the good timing. Do have lots of those event items ready so that you can start delivering them when the competition starts. So generally, all this are the preparation work you have to do during that 1 day break itself. Alright, so between today all the way to the end of this competition to be along about 2 over days. Then after which to be another day of rest. That's what you're going to repeat again. Do all the EP head start and accumulate all the event items and put them in the warehouse. That following, i.e. the third competition, will be a 2 days competition. Make sure you fight hard for that, because it is the last one that would be easier compared to the rest of the competition itself. So I always mention, try to win all the three competitions, at least the first 3 ranks. That will secure your 1000 event coins legendary train. That's it. Of course, then you can do more if possible, and you're going to choke up 4000 event keys for the second legendary train. So these are the first set of targets you try to achieve in every competition or a big events like this, and then eventually the subsequent keys balance you can use it for. Of course, decision have to be made between an epic vis-a-vis probably a rare plus common. Alright, so sometimes if you go for the epic, you got to think through, because some of the jobs that comes with great difficulty are always pointing towards the rare and the common. All thanks to the very low capacity trains arising from the rare and the common. But most of the very tough jobs always has this requirement of common and rare trains, if you take a look of all the jobs that you're having a hard time. So that's what being mentioned. I think it's important you make an informed choice, that you should always, if given a limited number of keys, go for the common and the rare train vis-a-vis the epic train itself. Okay, so as for the special building, it's very unlike previous how we've been playing. I mean, when we first have these special buildings, most of the time in the past with a plus 80 population, that's easy choice, i.e. you give up the common train for the plus 80 population, because it's hard to get population increase. But that said, now has changed, and of course we then have to value whether the common train will do you some good. If yes, they go for the common train. Then of course the other things you think about is really how could you increase the warehouse space. I think many times we've mentioned the importance of warehouse space, because it's really tricky that we are building the event items, and of course we have this very crazy idea by Pixar of mixing it in the winter challenge, basically the jobs that have to be done by the union under the union competition itself. Then all this adds on pressure towards your warehouse limited capacity. Increasing the warehouse require a lot of blue maps, so you gotta do that greedy captain's requirement. That being said, there are the 2 maps I'm not too sure about you, but for me I have tons of that, so that really not too much of a concern. But the greatest concern, of course, is to try to fulfill that building request requirement, and also the time to be taken, because generally I find that it's really difficult to spare time to do building requests, especially during the fighting of all these very intense competitions itself. So what I intend to do is really go with the flow and see how things work out. I think more importantly, secure the legendary trains from the events, and I think population growing is a long way to go. It is not a short battle. You can fight like competitions. It is a very long battle. You gotta keep on upgrading. But one thing you gotta take note is that trains in the current region will stay where they are once you leave your current region to the new region, whereas the warehouse space will follow you forever. Alright, so that's it for people who are new to the video. I'm currently in Japan. It's really expensive to upgrade trains in Japan, especially in terms of gold and parts itself. So I hoped before you actually move on or actually wanted to level up really fast, think about it again what you want to achieve in the game. If you want to achieve a lot of winnings in the game, take it slow and steady rather than rushing in terms of leveling up, because if you build a very strong foundation in competitions which always relies on both the current and the previous region, you have a great advantage. So like me, I'm in Japan right now, but I'm still able to win, for example, based on luck as well, the first in the previous competition. It's all thanks to my previous region trains, because there were jobs that request previous regions, and then we got to do it really fast because of really high capacity and a very strong fleet size. Then of course, compared to Japan, it's so much smaller in the capacity and of course the size as well. So that's it. I think that importance of hitting the midpoint of every single level, like 750 or 650, is to get that permanent dispatcher. Number of dispatchers are really important, because you know, all these trains that you can have sitting idling in the depot, if not for that dispatcher that helps you to deliver stuff, there's no way you can get used to train. So getting a huge quantity of trains can't work alone. You need to work together with a huge number of dispatchers helping you deliver the stuff. So it's important that you work towards the midpoint of getting a permanent dispatchers. And I think in 30, I think it's like 530, 630 or 730 kind of levels that they give you an option of using gems to engage that permanent dispatchers. If possible, try not to do that because gems are really precious. Try to use them in maybe during the competition itself to upgrade that event factory, or if you have not upgraded fully in terms of your core factories in the non-event map, go ahead and do that using gems. Alright, so this is important sharing in terms of not to waste gems on unnecessarily, because getting the permanent dispatches, you can easily get it at a 750 point by doing a lot of those items requests to get that dispatcher. Alright, so that's it. I think I'm almost reaching 715. Still going slow and steady in this context, because I know the moment if I leave Japan weak, I'll be losing competitions after competitions once I enter into the next last region at Egypt. And I think it is very different in Japan. I mean, if you can see the region drops them doing before they actually release the gold mine. So in the terms of jobs, Japan jobs are really tough. Huge quantities, that's it. Then weak capacity is both a double jeopardy in that context. Alright, so let's see back to the events. You can see a lot of new jobs being created, because once you complete that last job of the event, there'll be a new jobs. And end of the day, all this will point towards 100% completion of the event map, and the quantity would just jump, maybe double or even triple. So get ready for that for sure. Alright, that's 715 for you. And gems plus 3, that's really tiny. But that's the how stingy Pixel is as usual. So make sure you save up those precious gems. And of course the keys, it's important that you depends on what you really want. There could be one way that you go about it, which is saving at a midpoint, and do not use it until the new region. So this is something you can think about it. But meanwhile, hoping that you can use and find use them and find your missing trains, because once you leave the region into the new region, there's no way you can get back the previous region trains. This is something you could bear in mind. It's very difficult to do so. I think that's only once a year kind of event. Last time it's something that we used to hope towards, but nowadays it's really rare. But now when it appears, I will let you know again whether the such event exists. Even now I'm not too sure. For what I'm hoping really is to get the completion of the every single region in terms of the train collection, because after all this is a train game. So collecting of trains is also another set of targets you can want to work towards. Alright, so this building of this lunar base has a lot of rails. You can see here it's just called rails and rails. So with that, that's almost the end of this video. I hope you have a good one, and of course all the best towards winning this competition. And thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe. Goodbye.